Welcome back to the channel. Harley Quinn here, leader of Tears of Angels in Region 293 with another video from the mobile game Doomsday, Last Survivors. Now, before we get into it, don't forget to like, sub and turn on that bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming content. Now, let's get into it.
Welcome back to the channel. So today we'll be discussing Might. So Might is a scam. Not necessarily a scam, but it is not like it used to be in the good old days. Now I might sound like your grandparents here, but back in the day, Might was very representative of your power. Whoa, excuse that big word. Um, Back in the day, if you were 150 million, you were strong. You had T6, you had most likely all three T6s unlocked, possibly even cars, and you had a lot of troops. The only thing that really kind of affected you back in the day was your equipment, your parts, and equipment levels. Now, you have beasts, you have workshop, you have survivors, you have a whole lot of other things coming into it now that affect it. So I'll show you a breakdown of my account just so I can kind of explain it a little bit easier. So I'm 225 at the moment. I have 3.6 million T6. 400 of those is cars. Slowly killing them off as events go. Okay, so 3.6 info. So all your buildings, 21 million power, maxed out. All your technologies maxed out is 57. So just in those two alone, you have 78, 79 million might. So let's just say, for argument's sake, 80 million. You are maxed HQ. You are maxed research, everything. You then have squad. When you're sitting at 150 million, you'll have maybe 800,000 of each troop. Maybe by that time you get there, maybe a little bit less. So you'll have 2.4, which is slightly less, which 2.4, if you do on your calculator, which is 2.4 times 15 might, which is how many might one T6 give you, is 36 million. So 36 plus 80, you're sitting at about 120 million power. Base. Then you get all your heroes and stuff like that thrown in. So, yeah. And you'd think they were strong. Not anymore. So, as you can see, equipment. For me, 16. My heroes are 54 nearly. I'll touch on that in a second. And vehicle might is only 6. Bio beast is 16. So, vehicle might, your heroes and your beasts really no longer accurately represent your power. So for example, we go straight into our workshop. Right here. If you were dialed in and dedicated your account to a sole focus of infantry, rider, ranger, whatever, and you just purely focused on one workshop, a set of arms, a set of heroes, you can become formidable nowadays. Great example is Bongs. He is leader of 180A. We were with them in Apex. We faced them a few months back. He was about 140 million power, and I was sitting at about 200, thinking I had him covered. He picked me up and wiped the floor with me. Easily. He had level 20 attack, level 20 defense back then. He had 3 sets of arms over 5 million, and he just decimated me the whole map. It was not fun. Yet he was severely lower power than me, but he was dialed in. So, leveling up these, you get stupid percentage of buffs for leveling them up. Yes, they are hard to do. They are kind of expensive to do. But I'm not condoning spending. If you do spend on them, spend on your workshop. Like that's just crazy buffs. Like 42.5% at the moment. 47.5% at level 20. When you compare something like a skin that only gives 5% worth of buffs, you can't even compare. So, workshops hide your power. You then have your beasts, which they tweaked that a little bit in a few updates. Beasts aren't. Beasts are harder to get. You have to spend a lot of money to level them up. Um, their potential and essence and stuff is just really expensive and really hard to level up. It's not a matter of you can spend $10 and you'll have good heroes. You've got to spend a fair bit of money. But they do also hide how strong you are because beasts are very strong. If you have one solid team, you can do really strong, really good things. Next is your armaments. So, touched on this in the other videos. Getting yourself armaments is crazy strong. So, for example, if you were fielding a purple set, give me 2 seconds. I will remove, actually, no, I will remove them just for sake of demonstration. Should have done this first. So, let's just say you were coming at me with a 2.2 Catherine, which is a fully maxed out purple set. Buffs are pretty close to max, like they can be a little bit better. Like we're not going to quibble on that. I think you can kind of get up to about 2.4 with a purple set. You're coming at me with a 2.4 set, and I'm hitting you with a 3. I'll win. Even based, I will win. And you're only looking at 600k might difference. Doesn't matter. You could be a 200 million player versus a 140 million player, and they've got better arms. They will win. If everything else is the same, they will win. When you start getting into the realms of 3s and 4 million sets, so I will do a full video on armaments to explain that a little bit better. Excuse me. But gold set 3 million. She's out at the moment. You start getting devices in there. You get into the 3.5s. You then get into the 4s. Superbs bring you into the 5 millions quite easily. And then, but like just something simple like a 4 million hero does not necessarily simple. Vastly puts you above the pack. Like if you're versing people, most people will kind of be sitting around a 3 million hero. The average non-spender, you might be sitting at 2.5, 3 million on average. don't shoot me. But if you've got a 4 million, and then superbs are expensive, so it's not a matter of. But this is more of a way that might doesn't clearly display power. This, you could spend the money to get a superb set, so a superb event set of arms. Event matters because they are a lot stronger than non-events. Okay, so they have big difference, very important. Non-event boots, 500. Event boots, 650. 100k difference. Does matter. Keep that in mind. But back to this. I digress. You can get yourself a 6 million hero. You will wipe the floor with pretty much anyone on the map, provided they don't have something similar or their workshop is really, really high. But if you've got 5 heroes and they're all at 2.5, and I've got one at 6, your might's higher. 5 twos is 10. I've got one at 6. You're 4 million higher than me, yet I will murder you. Armaments are a very good disguise of power as well. They are expensive. So it's not a matter of might is might, and that matters. No. So now, jumping into part 2 of this video is I want to show you how to decipher or discern which players are actually really, really strong. Um, not my region. I'll go to 270. It's my old region. I'll go to LGX because actually KDL, they're massive now. Lovely Japanese clan. Chuni is a absolute monster. Okay? Shout out to her. So, perfect example here. You're looking at 240 power. You're thinking she's strong. The kills is then what starts mattering. So you're looking, so power number, yes, don't just disregard it because might is just a number. It does matter in terms of troop count, but also if you have high troop count, you've either been one, playing for a really long time, two, have some really good staff, or three, you're just full of troops. Okay? So you compare the ID number to the might. So hasn't been playing for too long. Has been playing for a year and a half, give or take. So a 1-3 number is about 2 years old. A 1-8 number is a bit over a year. And a 1-5 is about a year and a half. Anyway, so decent amount of time played. Kills, almost 1 billion. She's pretty strong. It's the kill value that matters. If all her kills were in T4 and T3 and T5, but she had no T6, that would tell me two things. One, she can't kill T6s, and therefore doesn't have the strength to do so, or did a lot of fighting when she was younger and hasn't really stepped into the higher rounds where T6 is. But you can tell by the clan and her power and her time, she's strong. Okay? Parts tell you if they're a spender. If you have a few golds you've spent in the game, or you've played for a really long time. This amount of time, she ain't free to play. Those two things there tell you she's not free to play. The next thing is your deaths. So deaths can tell you you fight a lot, you're a heavy fighter, you garrison a lot, or you're bad. So if your kills are really, really low and you've got really high deaths, you're just bad at fighting. If your kills are really, really high and your deaths are really, really low, you're either really good at fighting and never garrison, or in this combination, does both. Fights heaps, garrisons. Let's see if any of our other clans mates have. So, 180 with 47 million kills, same amount of time. Weak. You should have, like, alright, sitting at 20%, 20% kills. But at 160, you should be starting to, like at 180 power, you should be starting to come up to 100, like 100% ratio, really. Parts, spent a little bit, nothing much. Kills tell me doesn't have any good heroes. Jump to the next one. See? 1-to-1 ratio, give or take. Not many purple and gold parts. Free to play player. Likes to fight. Decent-ish amount kills. I would say most of these would be coming from joining Chuni's rallies or assisting her. But still, has something going on. Same thing again. Same thing again. Ooh, here we go. Ken, 200 million player with a purple border means he's a spender. Very young account. 2-to-1 ratio. Pretty high. He is strong. He's just boosted his count very fast. Lots of deaths means he's been fighting a lot, or at least filling a lot. 215. 1-to-1 ratio. Likes fighting. Bit of a spender. High T6 kills. Has a strong hero. Has at least one strong hero. Same thing again. Spender. Young account. High T6 kills. So he's got a strong hero as well. Now, when I say strong, I don't mean a 6 million. I mean mid 4s to 5s. Where is my boy Big Bird? He's still there? There he is. So I know Destructive is strong. Same thing again. He's got high kills. He's got a huge amount of deaths because I've watched him solo towers with himself, and very strong player. Mr. Steak, he's a friend of mine. Incredibly high kills, incredibly low power, because he kills his troops faster than he can get them. He trains his new T6 and they pretty much go straight back in the bin. But he's a fighter. If you're anything more than a 1-to-1 ratio, keep an eye out for him. So I hope those few little tips in discerning what might actually means and what is kind of worth looking out for. Don't just see a big number and think they're a problem. Use those few little tips I just showed you then to discern whether or not they're a threat. And if they are, you either focus them or you avoid them depending on who you are and where you are in the game. Awesome. Stay tuned, like and sub. I'll link some videos below that I've touched on in these things. Stay tuned for the next video. Harley out.